Hi there, this is Eshu. I'm the abbot here at Zenwest Buddhist Society. This Living Zen-podcast is just one of the many resources we've created at Zenwest to make Zen practice and training more available and accessible to people all over the world. Instructional videos, printable resources, and much, much more are also available on our website at www.zenwest.ca. If you're a regular listener, I'd love to hear from you. So please drop me an email at office@zenwest.ca and let me know who you are, how you got started, and what brought you to Zen. Everything we make available in person and online at Zenwest is only possible because of the support of our members and associates, people like you. If the efforts of our community are making a difference in your life, I'd like to invite you to show your support and take part in making it happen by becoming an associate or member of the Zenwest Sangha. You can do this by clicking the Join Us tab on our website at www.zenwest.ca. Thank you for your support, and thanks for listening. Welcome back after the holiday break. New year of practice. New year of practice together. And welcome to the newcomers tonight. Nice to have you. Just before we began sitting, I had a bit of a conversation with a member. Just talked a little bit about resolution. New Year's resolution. I think maybe everyone in the room has at some point explored, experimented with, attempted making New Year's resolutions. This year, my family was away in Ontario for the holidays, almost the whole break that Zenwest was closed. And so I had a lot of time to reflect on the past year and on the direction of my own life and the organization Zenwest that I'm involved with. I think it's a very natural time where we take a break, reflect on our lives and our direction, and maybe make some changes. One of the fundamental principles of Zen practice is that every moment, each and every moment that we have is a new year. Every breath that we take is a manifestation of the activity of birth. We are born again every moment. Every exhalation is a death, and we die every moment. So in a lot of ways, our Zen practice offers us the opportunity to make a New Year's resolution every breath, every moment. But it's not enough to just make a resolution. Everyone who's experimented with New Year's resolutions has certainly found that in some cases it's a whole lot harder to keep up than just saying, this is what I'm going to do this year. And that's one of the real values of Zen practice, of Zazen in particular, Zen meditation. But the whole method, form, and structure of Zen training. One of the things that we continuously, it seems to me, fail to recognize fully, to really give the respect that it deserves, is the power of habit. The simple power of repetitious activity. Every day, from the moment that we get up to the moment that we go to bed, most of us are engaged in a series of habits. Things that we do, for better or for worse, that we started doing at some point. It seemed to serve a purpose, so we continue to run that habit. We continue to run that program. It's everything from the order of things that we do in the morning, from the time we get up to the time that we leave our houses. It's everything, the order of the body parts that we wash in the shower. We don't vary that from day to day. We just do the same thing every day. And there's some things where that's really useful, that's very helpful, because it helps us make sure that we cover everything. We develop a system, and we follow the system. But one of the real difficulties of habit energy, one of the real difficulties of developing systems, is that it makes it very easy for us to check out. Once we start into the system, once we start into the habit cycle, it's very easy for us to start thinking about doing something else or thinking about what's coming next. Our bodies are continuing the process of jamming food in our mouths and washing our pits and doing all that kind of stuff, and we're absent. We're actually on to the next thing, or maybe we're reminiscing about something that happened in the past, last week or last month or a decade ago. And we're not really aware of that. We're not really aware of that until something happens, some kind of incident. We spill our coffee, or we slip in the tub, or we nearly rear end that guy in front of us in our car. And for a moment, we're crisply aware, crisply in our lives, crisply present, because the habit energy has been altered. It's been upset. And one of the things that I've been really observing lately is that it seems like habits that are not so helpful, habits that lead us to comfort and distraction, they're really easy to develop. It takes no effort to start eating too much. It takes no effort to watch too much television. It takes no effort to not exercise. These are all things that we can just, one day leads into the next. Not sleeping enough. One day leads into the next. And we can fill our whole lives becoming really busy with habit energies that actually aren't beneficial to us, and they aren't beneficial to the people around us, and they aren't beneficial to the whole world that we live in. And it's easy. And it seems to me that no matter what it is, if it's helpful, if it's beneficial, if it decreases suffering for ourselves and for others, these things never seem to become true habits, in the sense that we can really just check out and follow along with that. If we decide that maybe we need to be a little bit more careful about what it is that we're eating, every time that we make an aware or conscious decision not to eat something, or to eat something that's good for us, we can't not be there. We can't be on autopilot. We can't habitually do that. It requires our focus, our attention, and our awareness. Whenever we decide that we're going to go and do some exercise for our well-being, get involved in something, there's always, it seems to me, that resistance. Every time, at least for me, it comes to exercising, it's never like, well, I just fall out of bed and hit the floor running and off I go, I'm exercising. Whee! Oh, I didn't realize I was exercising until I was 5 kilometers. It never happens. Even meditation practice, I've been doing this for more than 20 years now, and it still is never just an easy thing to do. Just to fall out of bed and start sitting and, oh, look at that. I did my meditation practice today, and never even really thought about it. It requires an awareness of being present in the unfolding activity of your life. It requires you to be awake. It requires you to be aware of the habit energies that are driving you through your life. So, in Zen practice, we begin with this simple activity of sitting. We make it as easy as it could possibly be to see the functioning of the mind, to clarify the activity of the mind. Contrary to what many people believe or think or have heard about Zen practice, our practice is not about avoiding thought. Our practice is not about getting away from desires and aversions and likes and dislikes and emotions and busy minds and all that kind of stuff. Those things, if you're looking for an empty, vacuous space without thought or emotion, you will drive yourself crazy looking for them. But what you can find through Zen practice is space, spaciousness, clarity. As we develop stability in the physical body, and as our minds begin to settle and stabilize, as our hearts begin to settle and stabilize, these thoughts, these emotions that arise in our practice, and not just in our meditation practice, but in our day-to-day lives, as thoughts and feelings arise, rather than being seamlessly merged with them, dragged along by them, carried by our desires and driven by the things that we fear or we're afraid of, we gain some space. We begin to be able to see the motivations. We begin to be able to see the things that we're chasing after with the idea that it's going to give us some kind of lasting satisfaction. We see more and more clearly the things that we're running away from because we feel like if that stays with us, or if it overcomes us, or if it actually happens, we'll be destroyed. We begin to see how much of our daily lives are dictated, are driven in this habit cycle by our desires and our fears. And it's that spaciousness, that clarity, being able to see what it is that we're thinking, being able to be clear about how it is we're feeling about a certain circumstance. In that spaciousness, there starts to become choice. No longer shackled like an ox with a ring through its nose to a certain course of action every time we feel a certain way, or every time a certain kind of food comes out, or every time a certain kind of person is in the room. In that spaciousness, we begin to be able to see options. We begin to be able to have the opportunity for change, for transformation. And that's the beginning of practice. But it's really difficult to make that change, even seeing it clearly for yourself. Because even though we see it, we are all deeply immersed in the physical doing of habit activities. Our activities begin with thought, and transformation begins with clarifying our mind. But thought is followed by action. So seeing being clear in our mind is not enough. And maybe if we're really upset by what we see, maybe if we're really frustrated at watching ourselves make poor choices or harmful choices or damaging choices over and over again, we might have the fire, we might have the will, we might have the strength to begin to make changes in our own lives. We might be able to realize that change is possible. But when we're alone, again, it's so easy to just fall back into the familiar, comfortable ruts. Every step on a path of transformation is in unfamiliar territory. Unfamiliar territory is scary. Unfamiliar territory is uncomfortable. There are no landmarks in unfamiliar territory. If you're trying to improve your exercise practice, I bet you everyone in this room has made some kind of commitment. I'm going to exercise more. And alone, we make some small progress, and then we begin to sort of fall back into our old familiar patterns. And if we want to make a change in how we eat, we can do that. But if we stay with the same group of friends, and we stay in the same environments, and we go to the same restaurants and grocery stores, oh, how easily we just slide back into our old familiar ways of being, habits, the strength of habits. Likewise, even with clarifying the mind, even with this activity of meditation, we can make a good start on our own. But it's time. And we get busy. And sitting around doing nothing is something that can really easily just fall off the things that we need to do that day. And before long, we have this dusty cushion that's doing nothing. So, what do you do? Well, if you look at people who have been consistent in exercise practice, you will find that they involve themselves in a community that is primarily focused with exercise. You will find that they often make a relationship with someone who can critique and advise them on their exercise habit, to whom they are accountable, a coach, a trainer. The same is the case in somebody who's trying to make changes in how they eat. To be successful, it helps to find a community of people who are likewise concerned about health in what they're eating. It helps to have a mentor or someone that you can be accountable to for what it is that you're eating. And in practice, the same is true as well. Being able to engage in your practice and clarify your mind is wonderful. But there are very few people who can maintain this practice consistently and stably on their own for the years and years that it takes to transform your life. In Buddhism, there is a teaching called the three treasures, or the three refuges: Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And this teaching is exactly what I have been talking about. There is the activity, whether that's exercise or whether that's eating, or whether that's learning a skill, the dharma, the law, the principle. The Buddha, the one who is awake, is the representation of the teacher, the one who has gone before. And Sangha means the community, the body of practitioners. The reason that we practice in a group, the reason that we practice with a teacher, the reason that we practice with this form and tradition is that we recognize that this formula is a very practical and effective method of transformation. It begins with clarifying the mind and continues through every aspect of our life in its manifestation. So, as we go forward into this new year of practice, I encourage all of you to take refuge. Whether you're wanting to lose a few pounds because of, overeating during the holidays, or whether you want to clarify and change every aspect of your life, this formula of taking up an established practice with the support of a community of like-minded people and with the guidance of a trusted elder, try it out. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Living Zen podcast. If you follow Living Zen through iTunes, I would very much appreciate it if you would take a moment to let me know what you think about it by rating or reviewing the podcast, so that new listeners can also hear what you have to say. Thank you for your time and for your support.